You are now listening to the Sin and Twin podcast.
Welcome back to the Sin and Twin podcast. It's your girl Sin, and I'm here with my twin.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Bernard.
And we're here with another episode of Creative Corner, joined by our boys, Prince of Chaos.
What up?
And Elo the Don.
The
Welcome,
return,
guys.
the return of Elo the Don to the podcast.
Special feature.
Thanks for having me back.
Welcome back,
So
brother.
happy to have you.
Appreciate it.
So on this episode, we're going to recap Hamilton Fish's most recent show at Shillelagh Tavern, and also talk about live shows and the do's, the don'ts, the likes, the dislikes, and everything in between. So on February 3rd, Hamilton Fish had their Treat You Right single release party at Shillelagh Tavern in Queens, New York. And this was a show featured by other bands such as Carve a Path, Voodoo Van Jam, and Absolutely Wolves. And it was a hell of a show,
It really was.
if I do say so myself.
It was an amazing show.
Put on by
your boy, Bernard.
Hell yeah.
right.
Yeah, Hamilton Fish, we hosted a single release party. We just dropped our new single. It's called Treat You Right. If you haven't checked it out, go stream that shit. But yeah, we celebrated the release of the single at Shillelagh Tavern. Like Sin said, it's one of our favorite places to play in Astoria. It's a small Irish bar. It's definitely heavy on the local music scene in New York City and Queens. It's a great place to play and be, and it's one of the places that we continue to come back to and put on shows. And we put on the show last weekend, and it was a really amazing turnout, and very happy with how it went. And for everybody who came out and played and supported, it was an amazing night.
That's right. Oh, I may be biased, and I say this all the time, but it was an incredible show. I obviously enjoy every single one of Hamilton Fish's shows, but something about this one, I mean, the vibes from the other bands were incredible. They were all so supportive. They all stuck around to watch Hamilton Fish do their thing. And again, goosebumps and hair standing up. It was so good. Treat You Right is a kick-ass single.
Hell yeah.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. It's so good.
Also, the show was hosted by none other than Sin from the Sin and Twin podcast.
Get the hell out of here.
Nah, it was awesome. And I was going to say that a part of keeping everybody together and the vibe had to do with you.
Oh, thank you.
That's
Thank
who
you so
that chick
much.
was?
Yeah.
She was sick.
She was all right, you know?
aight.
It was something light.
She had a belt on her head at one point.
You know, I've gotten a lot of inquiries about the belt on my head, and I feel the need to say something about this, right? Because
Should we
obviously,
vote on it? We got 3 people.
so I had people. Okay, let me give you a little bit of backstory here. The first band, Voodoo Van Jam, who are just
Shout out.
oh
to
my
they
god,
cool
they're
shit,
so
man.
good.
Oh, they were awesome.
Yeah,
They're
really
so good. They had an electric fiddle. Bro. Anyway, 2 of their members had a tie-dye band wrapped around their heads. And I felt so inspired that when I got back up on stage afterwards, I snatched the closest belt I could find and I put it around my head because I was like, this is how we're going to start the night, right?
Did you take it off of somebody?
Yeah, some random
I
guy.
did.
She
I
said, "Take your
removed it."
pants off."
No, I didn't do all that. I was like, if they fall, they fall. I don't care. It's for the bit. I did have people ask me not to go up on stage with that around my head. For the
Yo,
sake.
dude, it was great because when they were done, I saw her like getting ready to get back on stage with the belt, and I was like,
She still had it on.
Yeah, she
I
did
was like-
the
I was like, oh,
next
shit.
segment with it on.
Live in the
yeah, no,
moment.
but that's what I'm saying is that like I noticed before she was getting on that she had it on her head, and I was just like, of course, Sin. Fuck you.
Yeah,
It was so
live in the
funny.
moment, son.
Yeah, so shout out to Gabe who willingly, not so much willingly, I forced him to remove his belt so that
had a
that could
headband.
happen.
That's
Shout
why
out.
That's
Real-
why Gabe was walking weird.
Yeah. Real quick shout out to Gabe. You know, he's one of our top supporters. He's always been there for us and always been coming out to the shows for years and supporting everybody in this room.
Gabe's
So
the man.
That's
we
right.
want to give you a quick shout out to Gabe. We love you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gabe was also moshing at one point during your show.
I moshed. I came out of
You
mosh
did.
retirement.
There were like 6 different mosh pits at one point.
Yeah.
I've been in mosh retirement for got to be at least a decade now.
I stayed in Mosh retirement.
The poor camera
Forever.
girl,
Same. Yeah.
poor photographer.
Yeah.
I know that was the other
Don't
thing.
hit the camera, girl. I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Like that was such a great shout
And
out.
she looked at everybody and was like, mm-hmm.
She was
Yeah.
such a good sport, though. She
Oh,
got
yeah.
bumped, and she just kept taking pictures. Like, she didn't care. So shout out to
Yeah,
also.
shout out to Maddie Barkassi. She's a amazing photographer. She shot our show, and she shot also my other band, Hills to Height, before. So
She kills it with the shots.
The pictures
Yeah,
came out
she was
incredible.
incredible.
Amazing. And she was
Yeah.
cool too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we
Cool
you
vibe.
know we tag all of our photographers for any pictures that are taken. So you could go check out our Instagram if you're looking for a photographer in the New York City area. Definitely shoot her a DM.
Yeah, she was dope. So, how do you feel the show went down?
It was great. Honestly, everything went pretty on schedule. Every band killed it. So I guess we could kind of I want to get into the bands. Let's start with you, actually, because you started the show. So we're going to do a little reverse Uno here. I'm going to ask you some questions. How's that sound?
Got him.
Nah, but so yeah, like I said earlier, Sin hosted the show. It was really cool. Sin also works in comedy and stuff, so she got to bring the comedic flair to the show, and did some crowd work, made a couple of jokes and stuff, and you did great, Sin.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it brought a very different element to our shows that we've never, I've never done this personally. Had somebody come host our show and talk to the crowd, and it was cool because I think a lot of us bands and musicians, we don't do enough of our own promotion on stage because we're focused on playing the songs and nailing everything right, doing everything in order. But I think having Sin to go up there and highlight these bands and talk about the records that they're putting out, was really a treat for us as the bands and the musicians, to have somebody else to be able to kind of let the crowd know what's going on, where to find you, what
I
song
was
you
just gonna
came
say that
out
because
with.
how many times you go up there and you're like, all right, we got to promote, and then we get up there
Yeah, dude,
and
it's-
we're in the moment, and then we walk off stage and we're like, oh,
yeah, dude, it's totally different
to
when
do this.
you could plan. I'm sure you guys can attest to this. Like, you can plan everything, but when you get up on that stage, everything fucking changes.
right out
you
the
know what I
window.
mean?
right out the window.
And
When-
talking to, sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, when people are staring at you and you're the center of attention, everything is different. Your brain works totally different.
And it doesn't matter how trained for that you are, or how many times you've done it. It's just like natural that the second you go up there and talking to that, we had an original game plan of how much time was going to be before the show, how much time was going to be in between each band. And that's show business, guys. It changes and things, happen. And it's so fun to see that, in the comedy world, that happens all the time. You think you're going to get 7 minutes or 5 minutes, and then you really have less than that. So you just got to improvise and do what you can with that material, and sort out in your brain in about 5 seconds. Okay, what can I say? What do I not have time to say? All of that good stuff. And it applies to the bands as well. It's just with the time constraints and with, certain mishaps that may happen, or how much time somebody ends up taking to set up, there's always adjustments and you got to go on the fly. You know what I mean? So it was really cool I know it from the comedy side. It was cool to see it from the music side of like, we just got to go with it, So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything
I
that
also-
you would like to talk about just as far as Sin before we get into the bands and like having that host and like, let's just start with LO and get your opinion on what you thought about Sin hosting the show
I
and
thought
having
Sin
that.
hosting was great. Like, again, it's that you're able to keep like between the bands. Obviously, you sometimes there's music, sometimes there's not. Sin being up there and talking and making everybody clap again for this one, for that one, really shouting out the names all night long. And it wasn't just one time that one band got a name shout out. It was everybody was being shouted out throughout the whole night, which is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So repetitive things tend to make people go and
Yeah, for
jump
sure.
on your phone, get on the social media, follow this person, follow that person. So from that aspect of it, it was incredible. Nothing bad at all could come out of that. You know what I mean? And Sin, you know how to handle it. Like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
it's awesome. When you brought up the idea and we were talking about it, I said that was going to be really good. And I also thought, I've pitched other ideas to you about to take it further. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think at some point you guys needed to broadcast the podcast live
For sure.
from one of these shows. And like, somehow we got to figure out a way to incorporate it and then maybe have the band sit down afterwards. Like, again, there's going to be multiple things going on, but I think there's just more ways that we can elevate it,
Right.
But it was a great start. It was really good.
I actually thought you did an amazing job, honestly. And
Thank you.
You don't let anybody tell you cannot wear a belt on your head. If you want to wear a belt on your head, wear a belt on your head. All right. That shows individuality.
It felt good.
And as a person training to be an MC and stuff like that, you did the golden rule, which is tip your bartenders, and
Yeah.
you made sure you enforce that. And the plugins to the podcast, awesome. And honestly, the fact that you did do the podcast plugin, I think that made all the other bands that came afterwards make sure to shout out the podcast as well too. So I feel like you did an amazing job.
Thank you. And that was something I loved too. Like all of the bands, you can almost see like a little bit of relief that they were going to be introduced as opposed to having to do their own introductions. You know, like I said hello to everybody before they went on and everything and made sure they knew that I was going to be bringing them on, made sure I had my information correct as far as like what they, you know, are promoting or have going on. And they were just so grateful to have somebody to come up, introduce them, do that work so that they could just focus on performing. So that was awesome too. And then even after the show, we connected. You know, they're all interested in being on the podcast, which is incredible. And it's just like that mutual love, respect, and support is just it's incredible. I think it was just such an awesome mix. It was such a good idea. Not mine, but I was happy to be a part of it. I can't take credit for your idea. You know what I mean?
I do have one critique.
Okay.
More jokes.
Yeah, we were on a time constraint,
Agreed.
so
Yeah.
I didn't want to. The last thing I wanted to do was cut into any time that the bands had, or you know, make it so that they have to kill themselves to switch over or pack up or anything like that. So hopefully, the next time we do this, that won't be too much of an issue. Not that
Yeah.
it was an issue, but
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next thing we do have planned is actually going to be less bands and more music in between, so it's going to be easier to give you that slot to do your thing.
yeah, which I'm excited too. I'm excited. I love telling my jokes, folks.
He.
Tee-hee.
All right, so
I also want to just say too, I also think it's not done a lot what we did.
yeah, no, it's definitely not done a lot, and I think that that's the biggest thing. One of the things we want to talk about in this podcast today is doing something different. Not just going out to see the regular old show. And I always say to the guys, like some of our supporters that come out to see us aren't necessarily, big fans of the style of music that we play or necessarily listen to any types of bands in that genre. So it's like, I feel like why not give those people to something else to look forward to, not only the music, and make it smoother for maybe that person goes outside to smoke during a lot of the shows. And this time they were like, man, I don't want to go out because I want to hear the next thing she's going to say, or, man, the first band was so good. I got to see the second band, so.
Yeah. And I just think it's just such a good mix.
I think the band selection that you made,
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
What a
that,
lineup.
that was key.
Yeah.
And it proved it. You know what I mean? Nobody left.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and that was another thing. It feels really good to put on a show where people are there for the first band, people are there for the last band, and to give these bands like Voodoo Van Jam, Absolutely Wolves, and Carver Path a platform. You know what I mean? And they did that for us too. By bringing their fans.
That's right.
And the fact that the band stayed for
that's
each performance too, that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's another big thing in the local scene is stick around for the other bands, watch the other bands because you're also just because you're playing doesn't mean you're not a spectator. Doesn't mean you might not love their band. Doesn't mean you might not become a fan of that band and have to go see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and honestly, it sounds silly to bring it up, but every single band shouted out Hamilton Fish.
Yeah.
They could forget everything else that they
it's so
wanted to
true.
say, but every single one shouted out Hamilton Fish and thanked them for, having them on the show. And that little thing, I was just like, I love these people.
that
man.
means the world to me.
Yeah.
And those bands are forever, people that I'm gonna continue to work with. You know what I mean? and shout out to them because we're the same way. And, you know, we've been in situations where, you know, we've opened for other bands and brought our people out, you know, and my people stuck around and, you know, they didn't even mention us once, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm definitely more careful about, you know, who I choose to work with. And, you know, for me, it's very important, like when I'm promoting a show, you know, so, you know, like Ella was saying earlier, for me to let you guys know that, like, this is my show, so, like, I promoted, I booked all the bands, but it was very important to me that, you know, when you're coming to see the Ham Fish show, that, like, you're going to be entertained all night, you know, and that every band is good and is going to go out there and do their thing. You know what I mean?
Ugh, and did they?
They
oh, my
did.
God.
Because it's like, I don't, you know, and this is no offense to any band. You know, we've been that band before where we've gone out and played a set and people have left, you know, but, you know, I don't want to, like, tell people over and over to come to this show, and then they come and they're like, man, I got to go outside. I don't want to listen to this. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that to my people. So the band selection was definitely important, and
Great.
they all came through for me and for us and the Fish and, you know, our whole team, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah.
So why don't we get into the bands and
Let's
talk
do it.
about that?
Yeah.
So first up, we had Voodoo Van Jam, and my gosh,
Ridiculous.
Like, I have spoken to people of all ages that were there, of all interests musically and everything, and everybody was with them. Everybody was with them. They were so fun to watch. They did 2 covers, maybe 3.
Yeah, they did Let's Get It Started.
Yeah.
That was good.
Man, that was so good.
Oh my gosh. And that was like the second song they performed. Like, they're good at, you know, song selection and making sure that they place the songs in the right. You son of a bitch. They did such a good job of, like, to me, it felt very calculated. You know what I mean? They did an original, and then they did Let's Get It Started. They kept everybody super entertained. Then they kept doing their music, and they did The Devil Came Down to Georgia. That they closed it out
Which was
They
crazy.
with The Devil Came Down to
slammed that
Georgia.
song, bro.
Dude, they're sick.
Between the
Totally out of
violinist
nowhere.
and the guitarist, like them doing that back
The
and
duel.
forth.
Oh my God.
Oh my god, that was,
I was like-
awesome.
Listen, and okay, I'm the only female in this room right now. I am going to pull the female card really quick. The female, is it a violin or a fiddle? I asked her that. She said everybody asks her that.
So
and it's
the
pretty
only
much the same
I got
thing.
an answer for you. So the only difference between a violin and a fiddle is a tax bracket. That's the
Okay.
only difference.
Okay, perfect. So their
String player.
string player. I don't. Jesus Christ.
She was playing the violin.
Their violinist, who was a female, who was so badass. She
Yeah,
had
shout out
every
Shelly. She's a beast.
yeah, huge shout out. She knows I love her. I told her the whole night that I love her. She had every woman in that place like hooked and sunk in there. You know what I mean? They were all like, this is incredible. You know, every time we see a female in a band, because it's not that common. That's why Last Minute was so dope, because they were all females, you know, from a previous show.
Shout out Last Minute.
Shout
Shout
out.
out.
They played at a previous show at Shillelagh Tavern with us.
And it's incredible to see these women rocking out amongst these men. And she was the only female on stage, and she was dominating. I mean, everybody was nasty in the band. I'm just saying that once the violin and the guitar started going at it, I was like, I swear to God, my face was like this close to their instruments, because I was like, get the hell out of here. This is so fire. You know, they were incredible.
They did
And-
one thing too where they all got like dipped
Yeah,
Oh,
they
they
got
all
low.
lowered
They all got
down.
low,
They
you
all
know
got
what I'm saying?
low.
Like,
And they played real soft. That was dope.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what I mean? That's the showmanship. I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
And like crowd interaction too. You know what I mean?
Yes. And Alex, he from Voodoo Van Jam,
Shout out Alex.
massive shout out. He was such an exciting energy the whole night. Like, he was also like moshing to Hamilton Fish, and they were Voodoo Van Jam like was just rocking out the whole night with us, and it was just so great because they started the show. They didn't have to, but they did. And I love them. I love them.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. You know, Voodoo Van Jam is a band that you want to book. You know, for all the promoters out there, other bands, they're from Long Island. So if you're looking for somebody in the, you know, tri-state area, I mean, they're such a great band and they're great people. You know, like I said, like Sim was saying, you know, Alex is very supportive. You know, like when we're on stage, the whole band really is there, and you know, he doesn't have to go and shout us out, but you know, he made sure throughout the set to shout out Hamilton Fish, you know, our new single, and the Sin and Twin podcast. So shout out to you, Alex. You the man.
Yeah, so much love there. And they also, you know, it was apparent they had a lot of family there, which we just love to see, right? We had a lot of family show up to this show. They always come through and support for Jay when he performs. So it was nice to see, like, there was a few parents in the crowd to see
A
them
lot of
perform
Shout out
too.
to the parents.
Yeah, huge shout out. That was really awesome.
It's always cool.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Their energy was just so great. It was so great. And it was the perfect start to the show.
Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that like Voodoo Van Jam is like the prime example of what you want to look for in a band.
Exactly. Yeah, that was what I was trying to get
they
at.
opened the show, they stayed the whole night, they were help supporting, they were shouting out, they were politicking with other bands and stuff like that. Like that's what you want to look for in a band when you're booking bands like that. Like
sure.
the amount of support that a band will show back to the people that help book.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's cool because
And they were amazing performers.
yeah, it's cool because we actually got on a show at Amityville Music Hall, which was promoted by James from Carver Path.
Oh, okay.
So James had booked us, and Voodoo was on the show as well. So we all, you know,
You're creating your own community.
yeah, and you know, we met Voodoo there, and like we had such a good time at that show, just hanging out, and you know, we just stayed on touch on Instagram and everything, and it worked out that they were able to play the show. So, you know, it's cool that that's the way, you know, we met was also through James from Carver Path.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so full circle.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I met James just booking, you know, I booked my first show, like actually being the promoter at the Heart Bar in Brooklyn. And I booked Carver Path. So after that show, James reached out to me, said, hey, I got a Halloween show. If you guys are interested, I want you guys on. So then we did the Halloween show. That's where we met Voodoo as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Halloween show. I couldn't make it to that one, but I would love to see a Halloween show with those three bands right there.
Yeah.
That's so great.
It's a good lineup.
Yeah. So then after Voodoo Van Jam, we had Absolutely Wolves.
Yo, shout out to my brothers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love them.
Me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I love them. Like, okay, again, I love Paul. We go way back. But the energy that they bring every single time they perform and the chemistry that the three of them have together is just so great,
Yeah, they're a serious power trio, those guys.
right?
Yeah, they're really good.
It blew my mind to see Tom there, like his name, right?
drummer.
Tom? Yeah,
Yeah.
drummer. Because I know him from my New Paltz days,
Oh, get out of here.
from like almost 10 years ago,
That's
and I had
crazy.
no idea he did music whatsoever. So when I
Dude,
saw him, I
he's
was
an
like,
amazing drummer.
Tom, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, I'm the drummer. I'm like, what?
That's crazy. I had no idea that you knew him.
Yeah, it was a blast from the past. I was like, whoa, you still look the same and everything.
I know. I feel
chaos,
like,
bro.
I feel like between all of us, we pretty much know everybody.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. If you had Grant in the room, that's a different story.
Oh,
We cover the globe.
Right. Yeah. So Paul, Tom, and Chris, huge shout out to them.
so Paul also plays in Hamilton Fish. For the people that don't know, he
Right.
plays drums and is the backup singer in Hamilton Fish, but he actually plays guitar and sings in Absolutely Wolves.
Right. And Paul's voice, like I even said it when I was on stage, his neck veins, when they come out, let me tell you something.
Should be popping.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm going to watch him die here and it's going to be lovely because it sounds so good.
They're gonna clip this shit.
Yeah.
Going to jail.
Going to jail. I just think their sound is incredible. Everybody was so into their set. Like the whole crowd was here for it. Again, they added something that they added something that Voodoo Van Jam doesn't have because they're a completely different sound. And to have that one after the other, I just thought it was fantastic. Like there was literally something there for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's really the thing, right? Like every band is really a different genre.
Yep.
You know, but we all kind of blend.
I was gonna say they transitioned into each other very well.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. It was so good.
There wasn't one thing that was so far off to the left that was like, what is going on here? You know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
for sure.
Everybody mixed in, you know?
Definitely.
And I just another side note, I think Paul did a fantastic job of making sure that he highlighted his other bandmates too. You know what I mean? Another thing that I don't feel like it doesn't necessarily have to happen, but when I see a front man give it to his bassist and then give it to his drummer to have some time to shine so that people really like see what they're doing. I mean, again, I'm not a musician, but that to me was just so dope, you know? And I thought I was incredibly entertained.
Yeah, no, it was dope.
He's looking at me like, bitch, what are you getting at?
No. This is her own fucked up brain. It's like she's thinking what I'm thinking, telling me what I'm thinking. Like, get the fuck out of here.
So massive shout out to Absolutely Wolves. You guys killed
no, they
it.
killed it. They played some Nirvana covers.
Which we always love.
They played some originals, and then I actually hopped on stage for the last 2 songs, and we played Times Like These by the Foo Fighters. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
That was awesome.
Did I trick anybody? Like getting up there? Did everybody know I was going to play with them? Did anybody know?
I didn't know you were going to play with them.
You guys didn't know,
No.
right? You
I
didn't
knew.
know? You knew I told
know,
you.
yeah.
You told
sorry.
me.
Okay, I told
Thanks,
you.
Jay.
I'm sorry, man.
Glad I was the one that was left out.
Come on, I definitely told you because I learned fucking Times Like These in like 4 minutes in the car.
That's right.
I got to the fucking rehearsal space, and I was like, I just didn't have time to learn the song. I thought I had time, but I got stuck playing golf. So I get to the fucking rehearsal studio, to the Hodgepodge, shout out, and I like set all my stuff up except like my guitar. Like I didn't plug it in. I was like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go learn the song. And they were like, all right. And I like went in my car for like 4 minutes.
This
I put it on, and I
tracks.
was like,
This is exactly what he did at the Winter Showcase for Jeremy
I
Torres.
was just about to say, like, there literally needs to be,
drums?
like, Jay needs to have, like, his own YouTube series where he just goes out to the car
And learn songs.
and learns songs.
No, you're on to something. Seriously. Jay's like, so I just got told I'm going to be playing this song. Why don't you follow along while I learn it?
You learned JT's whole set in like 10 minutes.
Incredible.
that one I'm gonna call it 40 minutes, but I swear to God, Times Like These had to be 4 minutes,
That's
maybe
crazy.
6.
That's a testament to your talent, but we're not going to highlight that at this moment.
It's more my unpreparedness.
Well, I was trying to
But
look at the glass half
luckily,
full.
Wolves fucks with me, so they're like, you're all right, dude. You know what you're doing.
It was great. You got up there, you rocked it. It was so fun to see. Because, again, Paul's your drummer, so it was so cool to see you hop on to his set, do your thing with them, and then it's like literally musical chairs. Because then when Ham Fish got up there, Paul's back there drumming and, backup vocals for you. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. They killed it, man. You guys are so fucking good.
Yeah.
They actually, I just want to make a quick shout out. They got a new record coming out, a new single called Hold On, which we did play that night. That was the song that we ended with. And produced and recorded by your boy Harbinard. So keep a lookout for Absolutely Wolves' new single.
What don't you do?
Yes.
Everything.
Shout out to Absolutely Wolves. And it
So
honestly,
I produced it. Like I'm basically their producer. So like we just went back in to Big and Tall. Shout out to Big and Tall, Gabe and Tommy. But yeah, so we recorded an EP. They have the next the EPs coming out one single at a time. But I did that one actually in Walden. Like we
okay.
I did everything in my house. But now we're recording out of Big and Tall with Tommy. So Tommy's engineering, and I just produced like another 5 songs for them that'll be coming out eventually. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And when you guys all get on the stage
I'm
like
their
that,
hidden 4th member.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Like when you guys do that thing where you collab and mix the two worlds, it ends up coming off as a spectator. It ends up coming off like you guys are just having the time of your lives.
Yeah, and that's the whole point.
It just looks like you're having so
that's
much
the
fun.
whole point of the show, is to have the time of our lives, and it's like that's what I want people who are coming to a Hamilton Fish show to feel.
Yeah.
Like I want them to feel that same joy as me getting up there and being able to go and jam with my with my friends and just play 2 songs. They're like, yo, learn this so you can come up and play with us. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. It was so great.
Yeah.
So after Absolutely Wolves, we had Carve a Path.
Shout out Carve a Path.
Huge shout out.
Super shout out.
Hell yeah. Talk about crowd interaction.
Yeah.
Oh my God. James literally got off the stage and just started circling everybody in the crowd.
Yeah,
and
he's a great,
While playing guitar.
great showman.
while playing
Yeah.
guitar, like it was so.
He's always got the wireless rig, so he can like run through the place. It's sick.
He's dope.
It was so good. And just a little backstory about Carve a Path. It is like a solo project. James is the mastermind, and this is his brainchild. And he, if I'm not mistaken, writes and creates
plays all the
music.
instruments.
Yeah, he plays all the instruments. Obviously, he can't do that on stage. So shout out to his bandmates who come up there, and also
Nick and Nick.
Nick
Shout out
and Nick.
Nick and Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Nickelodeon.
So, which was great too, because Nick, the drummer, actually made that known on stage too. So again, it felt like a lot of props were given to the people that deserved it, because he said it on stage. This is a solo project. This is all birthed from James, and not something he was going to get on the mic and let everybody know. So I think it's huge that he makes all of this music by himself, and then is able to, have guys step in and play the instruments he can't play at that moment.
Yeah, no, Carver Path is sick. I love those guys, and James is a great dude.
So good.
Their music's really awesome. They're like a fast punk band, also based out of Long Island, and great guys. Same thing, a band that I would always book. They bring it. They're a great time and a great hang. So.
They're really good, man.
Yeah, they're really
So
good.
good. So-
I had a
And
lot
it
of
was
fun
funny.
watching them.
I kind of told, a few people that I knew were coming to me that were, or coming to the show. Carve a Path is like the sleeper band. You know what I mean? Like, you might not have heard of them, but once you see them, you go
Damn
remember
right.
them.
Tough
You
act
know?
to follow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And their whole set is energy,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Non-stop.
From that first chord they play, it's like it's non-fucking stop. They don't play like slow songs like that. So
Not
Yeah.
a lot of time in between. Just
yeah,
let's get
Yeah,
into
he got
it.
right into it.
you know?
Yeah. So I spoke to James after the show was done, and James actually ended up saying the password to the podcast. And he said that one of his biggest inspirations is Linkin Park. Actually, it was because I told him, has anybody ever told you that you give Chester Bennington vibes? And his face lit up, and he was like, I've never heard that before. And I was like, dude. And he's like, I'm obsessed with Linkin Park. So I could go on for days. James, we love you. Carve a Path is incredible. And
yeah, go check them out for sure.
Yep. They actually gave the audience a choice between a Blink-182 cover or a Ramones cover. It was a room divided.
Then they played them both.
Did them both.
Yeah, they did 'em both. I feel like I was the only
Killed it.
real Ramones guy.
Yeah,
man.
of
Like, I
course.
was like, play Ramones.
Yeah.
I was
Of
screaming for
course, I'm
Blink.
gonna tell them to play Ramones.
Yeah.
Shout out CJ Ramone, my guy.
Shout out. So then it was time for the headlining band Hamilton Fish to take the stage.
Ham Fish, yo. Shout out to those guys. Bunch of fucking idiots.
I love the way we introduced
That
you
was
guys.
awesome.
Yeah, no, that was fire.
That was
So,
so fun.
for
It
the
was so
people
fun.
that were not there, Sin, the host of the show from the Sin and Twin podcast that we're on currently, brought my band out and actually introduced us one by one. And she called Will out first, and we started playing the new single because it's just a long guitar intro. And she called Paul out, and then she called me out. I came out. I was decked out in the Kobe flannel and the Kobe 1 shoes. So, I was like, rest in peace, Kobe.
That's right.
And it was awesome. It was really cool.
It was.
And I felt like the crowd really dug that. We worked on that, me and Sin, and it was really cool. It felt really fun to do. Like I said, the biggest thing is I'm trying to bring something different.
It's the showmanship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to give you guys a show, and when you come and spend money with us, we want you to get a good product. So
I think that's the magic of Hamilton Fish as it stands right now, is that all three of you guys are performers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you all bring this energy in different ways. Like, Will really thought he was going to be able to keep a Scully on during the set. And we all told him, like, Will, you're going to sweat, bro. Like, you go hard when you play, And sure enough, he came out without it. And sure enough, he was drenched by the end of the set,
Yeah.
And it's because Will just brings this, he's so excited.
Dude, we got the best pictures. Like, all of our best
Yeah.
pictures are Will.
No, seriously.
Straight up, I swear.
He looks like an 80s rock band,
Yeah,
rock
he does.
star in those pictures. And he just brings this excited, playful energy the whole time. He's always like shouting out to the crowd. Like, he's Oh my God, it's so vibrant.
Always
right?
cracking jokes.
Yeah, and then you've got Paul on the drums, and he's another one that he's always quick with whatever he says into that mic.
We got to make sure Paul doesn't shout out to the crowd.
Yeah. We need the opposite.
He's always like so quick with like if he gets a quick line in between songs, and he brings like such an excited energy. He breaks something every time he performs. Like it's just so great.
Does. He's a spaz for sure.
Right. And then I'm going to soup you up really quick. You command the entire space in a way that is like, I don't even know how you do it. You know what I mean? And it's so subtle. It's not forced. It's not begging for their support. It's not begging for their attention or for them to have a good time. You just go up there and just fill the room with, like, the best way I could describe it is just like this blue light. It sounds so stupid, but it's like this blue light that you fill the room with that you're just like, yo, everybody in here is about to have a good ass time and is about to enjoy what they're about to see. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And it's just,
that.
it's so good, Jay. It's so good.
It's
and
the love of the music.
yeah, like you feel it. It's so felt like from where we stand when we watch them, And then Casey joined you.
Yeah.
And I was like,
This dude killed it.
oh my God.
Ripped it.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
so
dude. I
good.
didn't even shout out Casey yet.
Shout out Casey.
Yeah, shout out Casey. So Casey plays in my other band called Hills to Height. He also plays in a band called Strawberry Sun. He's probably the best guitar player I know. So he came and played 3 songs with us, and it was really incredible. It was a really good time, a lot of fun. And yeah, it's my boy. He is the man. He's one of my favorite people, honestly.
He was incredible.
Yeah, just probably one of the most humble people I know. A really nice guy, and he's the man.
He was good. He shredded the hell out of the guitar. When he played on Believe, I was like,
Yeah.
like Believe is by far my favorite Hamilton Fish show. It's by far my
It is a
favorite
show.
Hamilton Fish
It is
song.
a show. That
It
song
is.
in itself is
It
a show.
is. It's an entire performance to witness, And obviously that song means the world to me. And then when Casey got up there and just added way more to it, which I never felt it needed, still don't feel like it needs it, but what an addition to the set that was.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean,
well, what do I know?
I mean, we're on track to have a second guitar player.
On track. Ding, ding, ding. That's a Hamilton Fish song. Go check it out.
Definitely at some point this year, we're going to be bringing on another guitar player. Because, like, for our music, it does need it. A lot of our music, has leads and rhythm guitars. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that we play that, could sound so much better if we have that extra guitar player. So, all the songs that we played with Casey are songs that, we feel need the
You need a
guitar.
little extra oomph.
Yeah, for it to really be what it is,
Right. It was incredible. I'm sorry. If you guys want to say anything, feel free.
We're talking about ham fish, right?
Yes.
So can I talk about 3 moments?
Yeah.
And obviously it's 2 that we kind of already touched on, but I thought the intro was incredible. I told you about that. True showmanship there. The second thing I want to talk about, which is what us as live performers always seem to run into,
There's problems.
is problems.
Facts.
And the way
That's right.
the way that you guys handled the problem, which very easily could have been like,
Yeah.
can't do this no more. You guys didn't stop, and I really thought the way that Will and Paul were able to pick you up while you were trying to address the problem, which was a major problem,
Yep.
and they finished out that song. Paul got on the mic,
Made his jokey joke.
made a little joke, right, which was perfect.
I told him to stop being funnier than me. I'm so sick of that.
Kudos to the band, and that's a product of all you guys putting the work in. You know what I'm saying? So that was like, to me, that was just stuck out because we've been there, bro.
Yeah.
3
yeah.
MCs, only one mic is working, this,
Yep.
that, bing, bang, boom. You know what I'm saying? So, and it wasn't the mic, it was your actual instrument that wasn't working. You know?
Yeah. My bass amp cut out, and at the end of one of our songs, and I was pretty disappointed, but just like LO said, we have to get through that, and my guys picked me back up, and they handled the crowd while we fixed it. Chris from Absolutely Wolves came over and helped me with the bass rig, and somehow, out of luck, the thing fucking kicked back on when we started our next song. And, you know,
But it was incredible.
maybe it
And
was
Yeah.
maybe it was the fucking love in the room.
I
You
think
know
that's what,
I
you
mean?
know,
Yeah.
again, the night needed to be made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that was made at that point. Like, there was no stopping at that point. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And the second anybody realized what was going on, as far as the other
Mm-hmm.
musicians, there was like 3 people on it
Which
to
was
like help
which
you
was
get it
awesome.
corrected.
And,
Yeah,
and again,
no.
and that has to do with the love in the room and this
Yeah.
and that. And that's why it turned back on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And then obviously the third thing that stands out is belief. It's just the way you intro the song,
Mm-hmm.
the way you guys perform the song, adding Casey to that really was just elevated it to a different level, man. That song's incredible. It touches everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know that for a fact. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
People were
everybody
talking to
talks
us
about
about
it.
the show, about that song specifically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a good song.
No,
I
appreciate
burned
you
my
guys,
finger
for sure.
during Believe, actually. Shout out Rocky. She actually had a surplus of lighters in her
And
bag.
that's what it was
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That was the other thing. Everybody had their phones up. Everybody had the
Yeah.
lighters up. Like,
Yeah.
it was. I just got chills talking. You know,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
just reminded me of that, like, that, I don't know why that just blanked out of my head, but like everything of, like I said, that song in itself is a separate show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience.
And
That
and
moment.
for you to be able to perform it too, because
Mm-hmm.
the personal meaning that it has to you and your entire family that's in that room,
Yo,
how you were able to perform that, bro, it's
Yeah.
incredible, man.
Yeah.
thank you, brother.
Kill it
I
every
appreciate
time,
that.
too. For sure.
Yeah, it's a special song for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
It really is, man.
And that song goes way back,
Yeah,
right? How long has that song?
yeah, that was the first Ham Fish song ever.
It was the first.
Well, probably. So Tommy wrote like the instruments of Believe, you know, in an early version years ago. I was on tour with CJ Ramon, and he sent it to me and was like, "Yo, I just wrote this song. I just want to show you." You know, and at the time I think we were working on a metal record. I was working on a bunch of hip hop shit, and he sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is incredible! Like we got to do something with this." So it just sat around for a while, and then when we started writing all the Ham Fish music, I think I had like, it was like We Won't Sleep, I think was like the first song like that, like I wrote, and then Tommy came and laid the stuff down, you know, leads and stuff, and we were like, all right, let's do something with this. And then I was like, oh yeah, like let me get that track, you know, like let's work on that track you sent me. And then I wrote, you know, all the stuff to it, and you know, we made it what it is, you know, me and Tommy, really.
It's magical.
Yeah. So
Shout
that
out
was
Tommy Mac.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah,
Tommy.
Shout out
Max
Tommy
the
Mac,
man.
That's the hidden fourth member of Hamilton Fish, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what I call him, especially because of like all the stuff he does for us in the studio. Like Tommy's, you know, also like, you know, the show was about Treat You Right. Tommy is the one who recorded, mixed Treat You Right. And it was mastered by John Aclario from Nada. Shout out to John,
The OG.
John the Down. But you know, Tommy is so important in our process, and like people don't know that like he's a huge fucking mastermind behind like
A lot of things.
a lot of things that we do. And you know, whether that's guitar stuff or vocals, like he's an incredible musician, incredible producer. So like, you know, a lot of our harmonies and stuff are he's the one being like, oh, do a third here, do a fifth here, you know. And so I got to give him a huge amount of credit for how fucking awesome that song came out. So I always call him, he's the fourth member of Hamilton Fish. You just don't see him.
The growth in Treat You Right,
Oh. It's so
second
good.
to none, bro.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I'm really excited for the future singles that you will be
Mm-hmm.
releasing.
Yeah, we got some shit coming.
I'm like,
April. Keep a lookout. And also we got Save the Date. We're not going to give you the official announcement yet, but Save the Date, April 13th, Newburgh, New York, Hudson Valley. Get ready. We coming.
Unofficial? Official? Which
It's
was it?
It's unofficially official.
Nice.
Whoa.
it's going to be fire.
Yeah, we don't
It's
want to
gonna be
give you the
incredible.
details yet, but because we're gonna do the rollout right. But Save the Date, April 13th. Hamilton Fish is coming. Hello, the Dawn is coming. The Prince of Chaos is coming. Sin and Twin podcast is coming.
Yeah.
So Save that date.
That's right. So, what we're going to ask is that our listeners just drop a comment for us. Let us know what you'd like to see going forward in the live shows or what you've enjoyed to anybody who has been able to come out to the shows. We want to hear some feedback, and we're definitely always trying to bring something different to the table. We want to hear what you have to say about it. Right, Jay?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to close it out. Thank you so much, Ella
Thank you for
LeDon, for
having me
joining
again.
us.
Thanks for coming on, LO.
Appreciate it.
Chaos, thank you so much as always.
Of course.
And Jay's going to take us out.
All right, guys. On 3, we're going to say peace. You guys ready?
Yep.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Peace.